Today we're going to be looking at some of the tools that really come in handy with beekeeping, and we're also going to look at the hives that we're going to transport our bees in. When you buy a nucleus colony, you can either bring them home in the nuke box, or you can transfer them into your own beehive and bring them home in your beehive. We thought it might be a little less traumatic to actually move the bees into the hive at the bee farm and then bring them home in the hive that they're going to live in. Needless to say, they can get very excited while you're transporting them and consume a lot of oxygen, so it's very important for there to be good airflow through the colony while you're moving them in the car. We'll be using screened bottom boards on the hive, as well as an inner cover that is actually a screen. This is not the normal inner cover you would use with a hive, but it will work for transport. The entrances, of course, will be closed, and we've put a little screw in there to make sure that they don't open up accidentally. It's also very important that the hive itself stays together during transport, so we've screwed the bottom board to the hive body and are using a ratchet strap to keep everything together. We're now going to look at a couple of other tools that are very, very handy. The first is what's known as a mule bar, and it's used for holding the frames when you're examining the hive. When you take a frame out of the hive, you have to do something with it, and rather than set it on the grass, you can put it in this mule bar. The last thing you want to do is be hunting through the grass for a dropped queen. If you need to move the bees off of comb, a lot of beekeepers will just use their hand or their gloves. But a bee brush actually is very handy because it's a gentle way to move the bees out of where you want them to not be. I don't really like to shake bees off of a comb unless it's absolutely necessary. Another handy thing is a beetle trap, which is a little plastic piece that you fill with oil. Bees have a tendency of pushing hive beetles into a corner, and what they end up doing is pushing them into the beetle trap where the little beetles drown in oil. A handy thing to have is a hive inspection notebook. This one's by Dadent. We're not a paid sponsor by Dadent, but it's really great to keep notes when you open the hive because you'll forget by the next time you look at it some of the things you saw on your last visit. You don't have to get a fancy printed one like this one, but for $3 I thought it was worthwhile. It gets us off to a good start. Traditionally, the thing that goes on top of your combs is called the inner cover. The inner cover that we're using here is non-vented, and I'll explain that in a future episode. You can see that the inner cover has a small oval hole in it. This is for something known as a bee escape. When you're trying to get the last few bees out of a super, the escape serves as a one-way valve, so that the bees can go down through the escape but not back up. Therefore, you can end up with an empty super. The last thing to go on top of our hive is known as the outer cover. Has a nice reflective top which keeps the hive a bit cool and prevents water from getting into the hive during rainstorms and other inclement weather. So you've seen a little bit of what we were doing there with the hives and what we're going to do. So that must have some questions.
Are we crazy? We're going to put fucking bees in the car while we're driving? Are you kidding me? What happens if these things swarm out and swarm onto our heads?
Well, the box is kept closed. It's strapped together. It's got an entrance block on it. Screen on the bottom, screen on the top.
But screen, that worries me.
No.
If they soar through it with their little stingers.
No, it doesn't work that way. You just have to worry about being in an accident. I mean, these bee transport trucks that contain 1,000 packages of bees, there's been accidents over the years, and they're kind of hard to clean up. Tractor trailers flipped on its side full of bees.
So what do you do if the officer stops you and he's like, "What's in there?"
Yeah, show him.
Why don't you put your hand right in there and find out? I said, it's bees. No, it's not. I bet it's Coke. Well, go right ahead and put your hand
Check
there
it out,
and
yes. I think the tip-off might be when he comes to the side of the car and opens it up and you have a bee veil on. And you look and go, do you really want to make this stop?
Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, so I saw that you put all the frames in the box. whatever. Is the box the super?
The box is the super, yes.
All right. So if I keep all these bees well, will I be a superhero?
Oh, Lord.
But why are they numbered?
Okay, the number that's on there is the year, and all those were numbered 21. And here's why. The unfortunate truth is wax, beeswax, is a type of lipid, and it absorbs poisons. So bees, when they collect pollen, also unfortunately get insecticide on them and other toxins, and they bring them back, and in the brood comb especially, which is on all year round, they go into the brood comb, and the brood comb absorbs the toxins off of them.
Mm-hmm.
And what can happen is after a number of years, the comb itself becomes toxic to the point.
So how do you know?
Well, the recommendation is after about 3 or 4 years, you change out the comb.
Well, how does that work?
Well, you move those combs progressively to the side because the bees use the combs on the side less, and you wait until there's really not much on it, and you pull it out of the hive and replace it with some more fresh foundation, which then they will draw out, and of course with fresh beeswax it doesn't have the toxins in it. Also, bees make a little cocoon inside those cells.
I was reading about that.
Yeah, and with every subsequent generation, the cell gets a little bit smaller.
Right,
and some
exactly.
university studies have shown that bees raised in old comb may be 15% smaller than bees in fresh
That makes
comb.
sense because there's no circumference for them to go plumping into. Oh, if it weren't that easy for us to lose weight. Get into a smaller bed. How long do you think it'll be for our bees?
It's hard to say. I mean, originally it was going to be the 2nd or 3rd week of the month. I know it's been kind of a cold, wet start this year, and so it might be a little delayed, but I'd say within a month we're going to have the bees back there.
Oh, that'll be fun.
And when's the sign ready?
I ordered it.
Yep. Well, when that comes in, we'll christen Buzz Park.
So we'll have to have a bottle of champagne.
There you go.
And hopefully it won't be bee pain after they've stung us. This is our golden bee retriever. And she'll be coming to the bee park, but very far away. She'll be coming to the bee park maybe 100 feet away on a nice run. But she will be one of our mascots for sure. Well, Badger, I think we're getting there.
We're getting there.
I'm getting excited.
Yep.
I want to meet the queen.
Well, you will probably name the queens if I...
Oh, I'm sure I will. I mean, there's going to be 2, right?
One in each hive, yes.
Okay, so one will be Gidget.
Gidget?
Yes, Queen Gidget.
Queen Gidget.
Yes.
Okay.
And Queen Drumstick.
Drumstick?
Gidget and Drumstick. Yep.
Okay.
Actually, let's let you guys name the queens.
No, there's a
Why don't you write down on our YouTube site ideas for the queens' names, and we'll decide from there.
Sounds good.
Send us some ideas. Gidget and Lamb Chop or whatever I said are pretty uninspired. So you guys come up with something. Sounds good.
Over and out.
Over and zzz out.